In the world of gaming, having the right phone can make all the difference. For serious gamers, it's important to have a phone with a high-quality display, big storage, long battery life, and other special features for smooth gaming. In this video, we will be looking at the top 5 best gaming phones on the market today. We'll be discussing their features and specs in detail, so that you can make an informed decision when it comes to choosing your next gaming phone. Please subscribe my channel and turn the notifications that you won't miss any new videos when we upload. ASUS's gaming phones are a great success. We even named the ROG Phone 6 probably the best gaming smartphone in our review. So it makes sense for the manufacturer not to rest on their laurels, but to continue expanding the series. The more expensive model now features a ventilation hatch made of plastic, which is positioned in the center at the top. It is closed as long as the cooling system is not attached, but rattles a little when you hold the ROG Phone 6D Ultimate. Not particularly promising in terms of quality. ASUS's gaming phone comes with Android 12, which is complemented by the manufacturer's own ROG UI. This user interface only makes small changes to the system, and Android users should have no difficulty finding their way around the phone. Gamers will be most interested in Armoury Crate, an app that allows you to launch games directly as well as to adjust the settings for the cooler or the gaming mode. The ROG Phone 6D can hold 2 SIM cards and supports 5G for both. There are numerous frequencies available in both the 5G and 4G networks, so it should be possible to operate the phone worldwide. We found the signal strength to be very good and on par with other high-end smartphones. Of course, a gaming smartphone must be subjected to our gaming test. Unfortunately, the ROG Phone 6D cannot access the full 165 FPS that the screen would be capable of in any of the games we tested. We measured a maximum of 90 FPS when playing PUBG Mobile at very low settings. In Ultra HD mode, the phone only managed 40 FPS. The gaming phone can be recharged with a maximum of 65 watts. It easily recharges within 1 hour at this rate. Unfortunately, the phone does not support wireless charging. The ROG Phone 6D reveals good stamina in our battery tests. This is not surprising considering its enormous 6000 mAh battery, although we did notice that the ROG Phone 6 with its Snapdragon SoC was even more efficient. Nonetheless, 16H26 in our Wi-Fi test should keep users going for a good 2 days without having to recharge, provided gaming is kept to a minimum. Under heavy load, the gaming phone keeps going for 4H24, which means that you can easily while away a train ride or two by gaming. However, please consider that the active cooler sucks a fair amount of energy out of your phone's battery. Gaming with the fan will drain 20% of the battery within half an hour, and this phone does cost up to $1360. As is the case with most gaming phones, the Xiaomi Black Shark 5 Pro's performance power is its main selling point, since this ensures it can run top-end titles at their highest graphics settings without breaking a sweat. At the heart of the device sits a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, supported by up to 12 GB of RAM, a combination that, in our experience, delivered outstanding gaming performance. So, the battery life on the Black Shark 5 Pro isn't up to snuff, but there is a feature, another carryover from the previous version, that makes up for it in part. This is 120 watts fast charging, which delivers the capability to power up the phone to full in just 15 minutes, which is incredibly impressive. While Black Shark may be keeping its ties to Xiaomi a little hush-hush, the game will be up on viewing the software. The fork of Android 12, Joy UI, used here as a dead ringer for MIUI on Xiaomi phones. Unfortunately, the Xiaomi Black Shark 5 Pro battery life spoils lots of the positives of the device. The 4650 mAh unit included here isn't great for a gaming phone, with the majority clocking in at 5000 mAh. However, we can't help but feel that the shortfall of 350 mAh wouldn't be sufficient on its own for the 5 Pro to deliver decent battery life. The display shares its 1080x2400 resolution with the vast majority of Android phones, but the 144Hz refresh rate, which means the image updates 144 times per second, is a little higher than most. As such, in games that support ultra-high frame rates, you'll find that motion is smoother, which is also the case for navigating menus and certain non-gaming apps. If you want to buy this phone, its price starts from $799. The interface is the main area where the Red Magic 7 drops the ball. It runs Android, so app support is great, and Red's also added a bunch of widgets to the mix to help you quickly control its fan and access gaming features. That said, various English translations throughout the UI miss the mark, And there are also a few visual issues. Nubia isn't prioritizing the camera specs like other smartphones currently launching. The Nubia Red Magic 7 runs Android 12, so app support is great. Nubia blocks some of the visual flourishes of Android's OS. Material U, for example, is missing, which lets you change the color scheme of the phone menus to match the wallpaper. The Red Magic 7 has a 4500 mAh battery, which is on the small side for a gaming phone. There's also power-hungry 5G connectivity on board, as well as the top-tier power. Achieving less than 8.5 hours of screen-on time, the Red Magic 7's battery life is bested by the gaming phone competition, with the ROG Phone 5 Pro pulling in over 15 hours with its 6000 mAh cell when set at the same brightness level. What the Red Magic 7 does do is charge quickly, with the 65W supplied charger powering it up by 45% in just 10 minutes, and fully charging it in around half an hour. An average price of it is $629 in America. This is the 4th-gen version of Sony's top-end line of Android smartphones, following on from the Sony Xperia 1 III, and accompanied by a mid-range Xperia 10 IV. These premium devices rarely have huge changes over their predecessors. Sony instead opts to tweak specs and bring useful new features for creatives. Sony uses a similar software approach to Motorola. It takes stock Android, as designed by Google, and adds a few extra tools. In the Xperia 1 IV, that's Android 12 you're getting, though without the update's signature Material U customization tool. A welcome upgrade the Mark IV Xperia gets from its Mark III predecessor is in the battery capacity, with a 500 mAh bump, taking the power pack to 5000 mAh. We actually complimented the Xperia 1 III's battery life in our review, but bigger is always better. Despite having a fairly large 4K screen, constant 5G connectivity, and lots of background apps running all the time, we were consistently impressed by the Xperia's battery life. It reliably saw us through a whole day of standard use, whether that meant a quick check of social media now and then, regular texting, Google Maps use, and music streaming. All of this features of this phone is going to cost up to $1299 US. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is truly the best of everything in the current iPhone world. It's got the best design, the biggest screen, the best cameras, and the smartest display. You'll pay for all of that, but if you're determined to get an iPhone and want the absolute apex device, this is clearly the handset for you. If you can live with a slightly smaller display and want less weight in your pocket, we might recommend the more compact 6.1-inch iPhone 14 Pro instead. Apple hasn't revealed the size of the iPhone 14 Pro Max battery, but snooping around reveals that it's actually marginally smaller than the previous Pro Maxes, 4,323 mAh versus 4,352 mAh, despite promising a higher 29 hours of video playback compared to the iPhone 13 Pro Max's 28 hours playback, presumably gaining a bit of battery life thanks to the more efficient A16 Bionic chip inside. Mostly streaming video, even with the always-on display firing, was an entirely different story. We got 26 hours of playback. In the US, the entire iPhone 14 line is now SIM slot-free, instead employing eSIM technology to connect you to the cellular network. In our testing, it introduced no difficulty in setting up the iPhone 14 Pro Max. All Apple iPhone 14 handsets ship with iOS 16. It's a worthwhile iOS upgrade, which offers some of the most significant platform changes we've seen in a while. You can buy one of this iPhone for $899 US, and it can cost more and more as its features get improved more.